All right. Good morning. Good morning, guys. It is Tuesday, January 12th, 2020. And this morning, we're going to talk about 10 lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur, this will still be beneficial to you because many of them are just life lessons that are just more exposed probably as an entrepreneur and make you realize a lot more being in business, how important these things are. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Good morning. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. This morning, we're going to talk about lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur. This was a topic that was sent to me by someone, and I thought, man, this is an easy one to talk about, right? So many lessons and so many things. And as I started, to go through this list, as I started to think through the things and lessons that were, that I've learned along the way, there's just so many. So I tried to keep it to 10. And to be honest, these are just the first 10. It's not like a top 10, but these are the first 10 that kind of came to my mind as I started jotting stuff down this morning. But before we get into the list, I just wanted to kind of give you guys some perspective on, what entrepreneurship or building a business, what that's really like. And a lot of people say that being an entrepreneur, being a business owner will show you who you really are. It really introduces yourself. It really introduces you to yourself. And I couldn't agree more. One of the things that you hear thrown around a lot is that it takes a massive amount of pressure to create diamonds. And so I Googled that this morning. It takes 725,000 pounds per square inch to create a diamond, right? And the one thing that I want all of you guys to realize, and this is, again, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or if you're just, a person out there, trying to be a better parent or trying to be a better friend or trying to be a better whatever, life is going to present pressure to you. Entrepreneurship presents that probably more frequently than a lot of people experience it. But the one thing I want you to realize is that, that pressure is a gift. That same pressure that turns carbon into diamonds, turns plenty of other things into dust. And so it is a choice that we all get to make as to how we utilize that pressure. And so, I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned and some of the perspective that I've gained through being an entrepreneur. I think that in a lot of ways, being an entrepreneur has made me a much better person in every aspect of my life. It has put pressure on me in different areas that, I probably didn't have that before I was in business for myself. And, that is a gift. And I think that, the show is called Morning Perspective. And I think the perspective that we all need to gain is that, every day that we're here, every day that we get to try again is really a gift. And those days that, are really tough, those days that, you wonder if it's worth it, those days are still a gift. And you have to look for the lessons that are in there. And so I wanted to share some of those lessons that I've learned with you guys over the last handful of years here, being an entrepreneur. But before I do that, as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Doug? Good morning, Jeff Baker, Jared Bird. Good morning, my girl, Tammy Clark, here as always, bright and early. Jake Perry, my man from Kentucky. Trudy, good morning to you. Chris Filippelli, good morning, Lynn. My wife is on here. Love you, babe. Mr. Calloway, can't wait to see you guys next week. And Don Sankey, good morning to you, man. Thank you guys for being here. So let's dive into the list here. This list, again, it is not in any particular order. It is a list of the things that just kind of came to mind as I was, thinking through some of the lessons that I've learned. And we could probably do a week-long show with a list of 25 every single day and not run out. But here's the list that I came up with this morning. Number one, keep your priorities straight. This is one, it is easy in this day and age to get caught up in lots of different things and become obsessed about the wrong things. Many people get into entrepreneurship thinking that, somehow they're going to get rich from being an entrepreneur, and many people do. But if that is your number one priority, you probably have things out of order. Keeping your priorities straight with regard to serving your clients, with regard to what is important and what is the reason that you do what you do. If you let those things, if you let your why get out of focus, you will lose a huge part of your motivation, because you start to question why you're doing it when you don't immediately get the results. So keeping those priorities straight. So for me, that is God first, family, and then business around those things. That doesn't mean that sometimes there aren't sacrifices that are made at times, and decisions that have to be made that take you away from your family, that put pressure on that situation. But it is very important to maintain your clarity as to why you're doing what you're doing. I've witnessed a lot of people in entrepreneurship not keep that focus, not keep those priorities, and become successful and end up with nothing in the end, right? They lose everything in their pursuit of achievement. And so really, really, really important to keep your priorities straight. And again, this is true in any aspect of your life, right? If you are just living your life, man, just make sure that you are keeping your priorities straight, that what is most important to you is in the right order. Number two, so that's number one. Number two, you will be massively misunderstood by a lot of people. It's not something that everybody can relate to, seeing a problem and spending your entire life or a lot of your life trying to solve that problem by building a business around how to solve it. And a lot of people don't relate to that. A lot of people don't understand the sacrifice. They find it ridiculous. I've been told that many times, that people, man, I just don't understand why you do that. It just seems crazy that you would spend the number of hours and do the things that you do. So you will be massively misunderstood by a lot of people, and that's okay. What I would say to that, as far as how to solve for that, is to build a tribe of people that do understand you. Try to surround yourself with people that do understand you. Join shows like this with people in the comments and connect with those people, because most of the time, the people that are interested in the same things as you, they will understand you. But there will be a lot of people, and sometimes even the people that you love the most, that will not understand why you do what you do. They will criticize you. They will say things behind your back. It will hurt, and it's okay, because at the end of the day, you have to live your life, and you have to know with clarity that what you're doing, the intentions that you have are pure, that you are doing everything for the right reasons. And if you have that clarity and you have a purpose, you will be okay being misunderstood. You will feel perfectly comfortable being misunderstood. And I have definitely achieved that in my life. I've gotten to a place where being misunderstood is just fine for me. Number three, not everyone is going to want you to win. You can either cry about it or you can use it as fuel. And, the truth is that everybody in the world has a different perspective on winning, on what is reasonable, what is unreasonable. And people are going to look at what you're doing, and they're going to formulate their own opinion based on their own experiences. And some people are going to cheer you on, and some people aren't. Some people are going to hope with everything they have that you don't win. And that has happened to me in my life. It's happened to me plenty. It happens to me pretty frequently still to this day, right? I don't give that much attention, but you have the ability to convert that negativity, that those people that want you to lose, those people who are out there, really hoping that things don't go well for you. You can use that as fuel to drive you and to make you better. Other than that, do not give it any attention. And just realize that is a sign that you're doing something right. It is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. That now, if you're collecting people nonstop and everybody wants you to lose, then you may need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. But in many cases, there's going to be people that are out there that don't want you to win. And there's something, it says more about them than it says about you. And my advice to you would be to use that as fuel, convert it, and use that to drive you to the next level. Number 4, there will be many, many, many times, and I'd love to hear from the entrepreneurs that are in the comments here, how many times this has happened to you. There will be many, many times that you will wonder if it's all worth it. I would just tell you that is normal, and it's not abnormal. What happens when you're going through the process is that the process is meant to weed out those that don't want it bad enough. The process is meant to weed out the weak, is one of the things that I say to the people that I coach. And so the world is there to test you. There are a lot of tests that are put in front of you as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of tests that are put in front of you as a parent to see exactly who you are as a parent, exactly who you are as a friend, exactly who you are in many different aspects of life. And so remember that there is a test that's put in front of you to make sure that you still want it bad enough, that to get, and it doesn't matter if you're already successful, to get from this level of success to the next level of success, there are new tests. And it will be normal for you to have those moments where you wonder if it's worth it. And I'll give you the same advice as I just gave a couple seconds ago here. It is who you depend on and who you have in your life and how you utilize those people, how you utilize the fuel that exists around you, those people that you're connected to, those people that are like-minded that you're able to connect with in some way, shape, or form. Those people will help you through those moments. You can help yourself, but man, is it powerful to have people around you that are all on the same mission, that all share the same values, that are all headed in the same direction, that believe the things that you believe. It is extremely powerful to have those people, and those moments where you wonder if it's worth it. You will spend less and less time thinking about that when it hits, right? But it is perfectly normal for you to wonder at times if it's worth it or not. Number 5, being intentional and proactive versus random and reactive is one of the most important things that you can implement into your life. I've had a lot of conversations recently about organization. There was a podcast that was just released yesterday that I did with my buddy Marvin on Blacktop Banter. If you guys haven't caught that, go check it out. And it was around this idea of, how do we juggle all the things that we've got in front of us? And, as an entrepreneur, you're going to be there. There's going to be so many things thrown at you. And if you also have a family and you've also got all these other things that you're trying to juggle, one of the things that I see most frequently in entrepreneurs that struggle and that probably spend a lot of time wondering if it's worth it or if they're actually going to make it is because they spend so much of their time random and reactive, right? Not necessarily intentional and proactive. And the more that you are intentional and proactive and in control of the things that are going on around you, the more you feel in control and the less chaotic your life feels and the more comfortable you can get in chaos, because what we experience every day is still chaos. But if you are intentional and proactive about that chaos, if you have a really good handle on what's going on, what's coming, you can kind of predict the things that are coming as you get more and more organized. You will feel a lot more calm and you will see things in the future a lot clearer if you're able to be intentional and proactive. Number 6, this one will hit home. There's a lot of conversation around, the 1%, achieving that status of being in the 1% of income earners, right? Being in the top 1% of people in whatever it is that you do. And the simple lesson here, and you've probably heard this before, but I'll try to drive it home this morning, to achieve what 99% of people don't, you have to be willing every single day to do what 99% of people won't. And that is a difficult thing to come to terms with, because there's a lot of sacrifice involved. There's a sacrifice of sleep. There's a sacrifice of free time. There's a sacrifice of things that you really, really enjoy doing that may not fit into your schedule if that is what you want to achieve. So you got to get very clear on what it is that you want. And if that is something that you set your sights on, just remember what I just said. To achieve what 99% of people don't, you have to be willing to do what 99% of people won't. And that takes a lot of sacrifice and discomfort and soul searching and doing things that are, probably crazy to a lot of people. This morning, I've been getting on Clubhouse in the Breakfast with Champions room with Glenn Lundy and a bunch of other just incredible human beings. And so that has changed my morning routine. It's gotten me up earlier. And so this morning, I was not required to be a moderator in that room, but I still got up at the same time and I went to the gym. And it's been something that I've been struggling with, but being around those people helped me do that. And so, I use that as an example because it would have been really easy for me not to do that this morning, right? For me to take that time to just relax or to sleep in or to, whatever. The old me would have not used that time wisely. And so, the 2021 version of me wants to use that time. So I still chose to get up super early and get to the gym and listen in on Clubhouse and still, get poured into by these people who are my friends and participate in that conversation. But be willing to do what 99% of other people won't, and you will be able to achieve what 99% of other people don't. Number 7. This is one that may cause some conversation here. Some people may challenge me on it, but this is my opinion. Days off do more harm than good for me. Days off do more harm than good. Take time blocks to yourself, but don't plan to take days off. There is not a day that goes by that I don't do something related to business. And I think it's really important to block your time to make sure that you can fit all the buckets of what you need to do. If you're married, you need time with your spouse. If you have children, you need to spend time that is uninterrupted with your children, where you're paying attention, you're present, and everything else is blocked out. But days off do me more harm than good. On the weekends, I wake up early and I get a couple hours in before everybody else in my house wakes up. Throughout the day, when everybody else is, kind of doing their thing and they don't need dad's attention, or my wife is, off doing something else or taking care of the kids, I'll get, as much time as I can in, and that helps me maintain momentum. As Eddie just said in the comments here, you don't lose your momentum. And so I want you to think about that. People talk about balance and, work-life balance and all these things. And so I would just tell you that to blend your life, right? To bring your family into what you do, to talk to them about your business and include them in the conversations, because they get excited just like you do. And the more that you get them bought into what you're doing, the easier that becomes to be successful at. Number 8, this is an important one. Who you take on the journey is the single most important decision you will ever make. When I look around at the last handful of years here in my life, the people who are around me is the gift. It's the fuel that makes things work. It is the single most important decision you will ever make. And I can't stress enough to you that who you allow in your circle, in your area of influence, it will change you. And so make sure that you are not just making the right decisions as to who to bring along for the ride, but to be constantly evaluating that and constantly looking at, those characteristics of those people around you and making sure that they line up with exactly where you want to go. Because, someday you may look around and find that there are people that, aren't growing at the same pace, aren't as committed as you are, aren't. And so, when you look around you and you have those things going on, sometimes there's tough decisions to make. And, but who you take on the journey with you and who you have around you every single day is the single most important decision that you will ever make in your life. So choose wisely. Number 9, set massive goals. One of the things that I have heard from Grant Cardone over and over and over again, and this has stuck with me for years, is that you have to set goals so big that your problems pale in comparison. When you hit those periods of adversity in your life, they don't seem like much if you've got goals that are big enough. If you're looking out and you see the benefit of what everything looks like years from now, those small little things that happen to you on a day-to-day basis, the small stuff remains the small stuff. But you have to have massive goals. You have to have a massive purpose to be able to keep that stuff in proper perspective. The second part of that, of setting massive goals, is this: exceptional people that we all want to surround ourselves with, they don't want to work at a place that has boring and mediocre goals. They want to work around people that are doing big things, that are trying to make an impact, trying to change the world. Exceptional people want to be around people that have massive goals and that are trying to do big things. Remember that. If you're having problems getting people into your business to work with you, there's probably a reason for it. And it could be that you're not setting goals that are aggressive enough. Maybe there's not enough energy flowing through you every day as a result of you're not having a big enough vision. You don't have big enough goals to attract the most exceptional people that are out there that could be on your team if you adjust that. Last but not least, and you guys hear me say this all the time, but I want to talk about it in a little bit more detail this morning. Number 10 is take as much quiet time to process the things that are going on in your life as you possibly can. There is nothing more important to me than the time that I get to think through things. And so for me, that happens early in the morning, right? I'm an early riser, have been for quite a while now. And so I get time to myself in the morning. I get some time to kind of process things. Many times if I'm driving in my car, I'm either listening to podcasts. Sometimes I listen to music, but most of the time it's either podcasts or sometimes it's just pure silence. And so I'm trying to process and think through some of the things that are going on. And I think that none of us realize exactly how much information we have coming at us all day, every day, whether it's through social media, emails, conversations, just how much activity your brain has of processing things, right, that are coming at you. So you have to take that quiet time to get clear on exactly what's going on. Take the time to process the things that have happened around you and be able to look back so that you can look forward with clarity. And, that quiet time for me has been a massive change in my life, right? I try to spend as much time every day as I possibly can. Some people do meditation. That's not really something that I do. I guess what I do is probably a form of it, but it is just taking the time to process everything that's going on around you. And the busier you get and the more chaotic things get, the more important this becomes, because there's a lot coming at us, right? For me, there are days that my schedule literally is 30 minutes to an hour at a time, and it starts at 7 a.m. and it doesn't end until 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. And so those days take more processing time, right? To be able to get through, to think through exactly what happened, to review your notes from whatever calls you had, to actually think about those conversations, to reach back out to those people that you talk to and actually, solidify those relationships. It takes time to process this stuff. And so quiet time is the best way to process everything that's happened in a day. And so if you don't take that, I would highly recommend it. If you can get it, sometimes at the end of my day, I will literally just go sit in my truck and I just take 10 or 15 minutes to kind of think through everything. And sometimes I'll pull up my phone and just look at my calendar to kind of remind me of what happened. that day, remind me of the conversations that I had. And I spend time just trying to process that information and think about how does it fit? How does it benefit me in the future? What are maybe some of the things that I need to communicate to other people? But taking that quiet time to process the things that are going on in your life, man, it is such a gift. It's such a gift to you personally. It's such a gift to you professionally, to be able to actually think about, things from your own perspective, putting yourself in the shoes of those people that you have, that you have conversations with, right? Put yourself in their shoes and actually think from their perspective. I call that 360-degree perspective. If you can't see that, you need to take some time to just, try to process it. And I think you'll see that if you take that time, many times we can't process it because we don't have enough quiet time to actually do it. And so that's the list. Top 10, if you want to call it. I'll drop it in the comments here for you guys if you want to kind of review it and think about it. And maybe you want to take some quiet time to process this list today. But I hope that the list was helpful. I hope that, some of these lessons that I've learned as an entrepreneur can be beneficial to you guys. And even if you don't own a business, man, this list is probably applicable for many different aspects of your life. But I hope that it was helpful. I hope that maybe it got somebody right at the right point where, they're having some challenges, and maybe this list will give them some perspective that keeps them going today. And I've been there. Everybody has had those days where they wondered if it was worth it, where they wondered, man, what is the next day going to bring? That is normal. If you're trying to do big things, you're trying to grow, you're trying to do things that really make an impact in the world, that resistance is normal. And the more resistance you get, you should get excited, because it means that you're close to a breakthrough. You're close to making the next move, jumping to the next level, achieving that next thing that you set out to do. So again, I hope the list was helpful, guys. I hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday, and I will see you guys again, same place, same time, 7:30 a.m. right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.